Hi, we are going to talk about basic trigonometry. This is just an introduction. So what we need to know is that when we have a right triangle, in the right triangle you have a hypotenuse and two legs, and then if you pick one of the acute angles, like in this case we're picking this one, then each side is going to be the adjacent or opposite. Like the side that's is right next to that angle, that actually contains that angle, is adjacent, and the side that lies across is the opposite. And then with the following are the three main trigonometric ratios that we use. So sine will be the opposite leg divided by the hypotenuse. Cosine is going to be the adjacent leg divided by the hypotenuse, and tangent is the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. One way you can remember this is something called SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA right here. This actually is sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. Also, please remember that opposite and adjacent are always going to be relative to the angle in question. Okay. So here is a triangle given to us. We know all three sides. It's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So for sine A, the side that is opposite of A is 3, and the hypotenuse is 5. For cosine of A, 4 is the adjacent side, 5 obviously is the hypotenuse, so 4 over 5. For tangent of angle A is opposite, which is 3, over the adjacent, which is 4. So 3 over 4. Now if we switch our attention to angle B, watch what happens. For B, this side, the one that's 4, is the opposite, and this one is adjacent. This is still the hypotenuse. So when you try to find sine B, you're going to do 4 over 5. For cosine B, again, we're looking at this angle. For that angle, this side is adjacent. This is the hypotenuse, so 3 over 5. And for tangent of that angle is 4, which is the opposite, over 3, which is adjacent. So that's what I meant when I said that opposite and adjacent are relative to the angle. So be very careful when you do it. Alright, here is a diagram. What do we know here? We know that A is 5, B is 12. We need to find each trigonometric ratio. The only one that you can find with the information that's given to you for angle X right here is the tangent, because you have opposite and adjacent. It is going to be 5 over 12. But the question is, how do you find the other two, because you need the hypotenuse? So we use the Pythagorean theorem. 5 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. This is 25 plus 144 equals c squared. C squared is 169. C equals square root of 169, which is 13. So this side is 13. And then you can do the other two. So again, for angle X, the opposite is 5. So for sine it's going to be 5 over 13. And adjacent is 12. So for cosine it's going to be 12 over 13. Alright. We have this example. So in this diagram we know that A is 6 and C is 15. So A is 6 and C is 15. So now we know one leg and the hypotenuse, and we don't know, that was supposed to be Y. Oh, no, this is, no, we're doing it for that angle, that's everything correct. So this is angle Y. So we're trying to find sine, cosine, and tangent for that angle. Which one can we find right away? Well, let's take a look. For this angle, this is adjacent, and this is hypotenuse. So adjacent over hypotenuse is cosine. We can write cosine right away. And in this case we can actually simplify that. This fraction, you divide both top and the bottom by 3, which gives us 2 over 5. But we still need to find the other two, and for that we're going to need the opposite. So how do we find that? Well, we know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 6 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared. That means that 36 plus b squared equals 225. So b squared equals 225 minus 36, which is going to be 225 minus 36. That is 189. So b is going to be the square root of 189. And the square root of 189 is going to be not a whole number. So that means we're going to have to leave it like that. We can possibly simplify that. 189 is divisible by 9. So it is going to be square root of 9 times 21, which is going to be 3 square root of 21. We are going to keep it in this form so we can get exact values. Okay? So now we know that this side here is 3 square root of 21. And when we do our other two ratios, that's what we are going to use. So for sine, it's opposite, for this angle opposite over hypotenuse. It's going to be 3 square root of 21 over 15. You can simplify that as square root of 21 over 5. And for tangent is going to be, for this angle, it's going to be opposite over adjacent, which is 3 square root of 21 divided by 6. This can be simplified. It's going to be square root of 21 over 2. Okay, and that's it.